HEX Shards of Fate expands beta with its first single-player adventure. Sevencore introduces a cute and creepy new race. Dungeon Fighter Online prepares for its epic return next week, and World of Warships finally reveals its closed beta details. What's happening, guys? James Blonde here with MMOHuts.com with a quick weekly recap for MMO news and announcements of the week ending March 16th, 2015. And the first chunk of news starting out this week is Wargaming finally announcing a closed beta date for World of Warships. Starting at different times for different regions, Europe, North America, and Asia players are able to start signing up for the closed beta, which started on March 12th this past week. The beta seems to be ongoing now with no actual signs of an end date, and you can still sign up to gain access. Definitely not too late. In this closed beta, players can test out 5 of the game's maps, command over 50 US and Japanese warships with 4 different classes of warships to choose from. As the test goes on, the developers plan on adding in Japanese aircraft carriers and US battleships into the roster, as well as customization options on top of that. I'm really hoping they plan to do some disruptive camouflage in some of the customization options. Some of the ships that have that on them can look really odd, but at the same time, absolutely awesome. On a similar note, it looks like Armored Warfare is approaching its closed beta testing soon, according to an announcement made in their latest showcase trailer for the BMP2. No actual dates were announced, unfortunately, and the game is still currently in alpha testing, but it was announced that the BMP2 will be playable in the closed beta tests of Armored Warfare, which in turn probably means it's happening really soon. They had just announced it in this most recent video of theirs. The BMP2 armored vehicle they announced in this video is a Tier 4 IFV capable of reconnaissance with really good mobility and effectiveness against lightly armored vehicles.
You'll be able to play BMP2 during the closed beta stage of Armored Warfare development.
And speaking of closed beta and My.com games, Skyforge is currently in closed beta testing, which started this past Wednesday and ends this coming Wednesday on the 18th. So this first one was a 1-week test. According to the official site posts, over 1 million players signed up for the first test, so my guess is that they won't have a big gap times between their test periods, and they'll be letting more and more players in to stress test the servers as they go along. On top of that, the Alad's team introduced a new video discussing the development of raids and how they plan to fit them into the game's unique atmosphere. The raids in Skyforge will consist of 10 players for now and becomes available after you unlock your god form for epic in-game content. The first raid featured in this video is a crashed mechanoid ship that is also overgrown with phytonides, which are kind of like mutant plant creatures. I guess that's the best way to put it. This particular raid consists of 4 bosses, one of which is a droid that is kind of like a giant Rubik's Cube, and you have to figure out how to destroy his different forms in order to ultimately defeat him. And the other one is a mutant giant mushroom. But the cool thing about this is that you have the crossover from the sci-fi to the more typical fantasy style theme all within the same raid. I kind of like that. Next up, Webzen announced this past week the release of Age of Wulin's 3rd expansion called Chapter 4 Betrayal and Forgiveness. Now available in English, this new expansion introduces 6 new playable factions from which you can selectively join after figuring out a clever way of abandoning your original sect. You can now learn about the 3 remaining secret factions yet to be revealed until now, and the new content is focused around increasing the immersion in Age of Wulin. With the weather system and multiple dynamic events, the game now has a full night and day cycle, with many new weather effects, allowing new events to pit players against enemies and elements at the same time. Protecting cities, saving injured civilians, and escorting characters will be some of the missions to accomplish in order to receive rewards and glory in this new expansion. So it actually seems like a fairly extensive expansion, if you ask me. On a similar note, Archeage just launched its first Western version expansion, or content update, however you want to look at it, this past week called the Secrets of Ayanad, which lets players explore the new Ayanad library dungeon, packed with enemies and not so many books, surprisingly. But you can pretty much tell by the gameplay in their latest trailer here that it's kind of intense. A new zone and housing area is introduced in this update called Diamond Shores, and of course, along with a raise in level cap to 55, new Ayanad and Obsidian gear becomes available, along with 10 new abilities across all the classes, making them even more versatile. Somewhat decent-sized content update, check out the official launch trailer at the site post at MMOHuts.com. So many MMORPGs have them, and it looks like Sevencore now does too. And I'm talking about that one, sometimes 2 races in the game that are cute and cuddly. Sevencore announced the Aimon race this past week, who are apparently a peaceful race of humanoids from the eastern continent in Sevencore. These little guys have special racial attributes that allow them to increase the energy of their mounts that they ride into battle on, and even provide a health regeneration boost when they're not in battle. After the scheduled maintenance this coming Wednesday the 18th, the new race will be available for both English and Spanish servers. Pick up on more information at the site post from the link in the description below. Now that I think about it, these are actually a bit more creepy than they are cuddly. Maybe it's the weird dancing in the trailer music. Yeah, that's probably it. Anyway, moving on, old school Dungeon Fighter Online players will be excited to hear that Neopol has recently announced that DFO will be making its epic return to the English gaming market on March 24th. Nice, open to all gamers around the globe. The Part 1 open beta that's starting on the 24th is a version of DFO updated to the previous D-Day expansion, maybe slightly after, and includes most but not all playable classes. Classes such as the Female Slayer and Knight will not be available during the open beta for some reason. If you've been playing in the alpha test prior, you'll be able to retrieve your previous characters from where they left off by using your Facebook login as you did before. So, yeah, pretty cool news. I'm definitely glad to see Neopol bringing back DFO. They're definitely going to be doing it right. Also slightly old school now, the North American version of CrossFire is celebrating its 6th anniversary and doing so with a new content update. Including the anniversary update, as they're calling it, is a crap ton of new weapons, some of which have St. Paddy's Day themes to them, appropriate. 6th anniversary themed sprays, name cards, and even a birthday party hat cosmetic item, a lot of which are free just by logging in. On top of all of that, the anniversary update includes the release of the Mutant Night mode. In this team-based game mode, players assume the role of either a soldier or a mutant, with each side growing stronger and gaining new abilities as the match goes on. It's a little bit more than your typical mutant or monster game mode. It's more like the Mercs versus Monsters from ZMR. 6 years going is a pretty nice achievement for a free-to-play FPS game, so I'd say nice job on that. But even more impressive is EverQuest celebrating its 16th anniversary this week, complete with in-game events such as 16 days of bonus experience and a developer live stream where they'll be playing through some of the player design missions. The other cool part here is that Daybreak Games hooked us up with 16 all-access passes to give you guys, so these will provide you with plenty of bonuses, not with just EverQuest, but pretty much all of their games, like PlanetSide 2, DC Universe Online, and so on. So if you're looking to snag one of those, check the description below for more details on how to win. Next up, Gameforge and HEX Entertainment are expanding the beta of HEX Shards of Fate with the first ever single-player content in the game. The new content, called Frost Ring Arena, will have players dueling against various AI opponents as part of an overarching storyline, with newly introduced PvE cards, expanding the repertoire of playable effects, spells, and troops to over 700. The Frost Ring Arena content is divided into 4 wings, each consisting of 4 regular opponents and 1 boss. These enemies are randomly chosen at each start from a pool of a total 30 normal AIs and 7 bosses. Talk about replayability. In addition, the duels against these AI opponents differ in their composition from the previously seen PvP bouts, and such that certain creatures make exclusive use of cards of a specific category, for instance, or draw heavily on counter magic. There is definitely a boatload to discover with this new expansion, so check out all the details at the site post at MMOHuts.com. And finally, for our last bit of news this week, Star Citizen made a PAX-sized surprise presence at South by Southwest Gaming Convention this past weekend, which I happened to be near for a few hours, and I've got to admit, this was the first time that I've actually been able to get hands-on with this game, and it's already fantastic, beautiful, and complex all at the same time. It's hard to describe. The cool thing is, during this week, just like they did for PAX East, they're letting players try out some of the game features, most of the game features, and all you need is a code to do so. And that particular code is in the description below, along with a direct link to download the game. The code is universal, so it'll work for everybody. Feel free to try it out, but it only lasts until March 20th. However, there's no doubt, if your computer can handle it, now is a great time to check this game out. Anyway, guys, that's about it for all the major MMO news and announcements for this week. One more announcement I'd like to make is that MMOHuts YouTube just hit 400,000 subscribers this past weekend, and for that, we are super thankful. On behalf of me, DizzyPW, and our small MMOHuts team, We'd love to say thank you so much for your support. Every single view and sub means so much to us, so thanks again, guys. And like always, if you're looking for more information about the news featured in the recap, check the links in the description below. Otherwise, head over to MMOHuts.com/news for even more MMO news. Feel free to discuss the news in the comments below or head over to MMOHuts.com/forums. Until next time, guys, it's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.